virtualizations, and also the software-defined networkings, and also the orchestration management. So it means connectivity becomes differentiated, enabling you to apply innovative business models and demonstrate an additional value. Instead of looking at the top area that I'm in the green color, this part is the vertical area. The CSP should actually look into the cluster, which is the bottom area, right? So cluster bottom area means just focus on an enhanced video services, or the monitoring or tracking, or real-time automation, smart surveillance, all those kind of stuff. Once they focus that cluster, then this particular clusters can able to address 10 or 20 different industries, whichever industries that really requires. I think most of the industries, they require enhanced video services. They do require, quite a number of them require augmented reality, right? Also smart surveillance in the other case. So each cluster defined in a characteristics such a way that mobility plays a big role, data speed plays a big role, as what Sadiq has mentioned earlier. It's all about speed, speed, speed. The latency, this other area, and also the service availability, right? So not all the areas can able to have a 99.9999 kind of reliability coverage. So yeah, that's a very quick presentation from my side. So I would like to call upon anyone who have any kind of a question. We'll have 2 or 3 minutes to cover the question and answer session.
Just a quick curiosity, a question I have is, we didn't touch upon cybersecurity element as we are trying to drive so many IoT use cases, be it autonomous vehicles or critical infrastructure. What are the telcos' view on cybersecurity of 5G? Anybody would like to? It's not particularly to anybody. Anybody could maybe share their views.
Yeah, I think is the issue of increased vulnerability has been addressed several times. Any kind of communication that gives multiple devices access to a network exposes the network as well as the device. So the issue of encryption, end-to-end encryption, has to be really looked at. And I think this is the best time for us to deploy quantum computing to help in addressing authentication. And having a two-token authentication will now literally become even more relevant, because right now I can log into 2 or 3 devices using the same username and password, and if anything happens to one of the devices, I'm still held responsible for it. So you can log into this Zoom, for instance, using your desktop, your laptop, and your phone, and if you move out of the sitting room and go to another room, you are still liable because you are the person that logged in the sitting room. What we are going to have to do is stop multiple devices having the same authentication details, because too many devices are now going to be logged in because of the increased capability. So with increased capability, increases vulnerability, and therefore we have to completely rethink the the security modality we were using before, because we are going into a brand new area that is far more exciting, but much more vulnerable.
I would like to add Professor Chris' points here. The most vulnerable access here is the devices, the IoT, whether it can be a mobile phone or whether it can be the sensors, actuators, devices, connectors, all that stuff. So how can we able to protect those kind which is very prone because of the huge amount of devices that's distributed in all segment of areas. One of the key areas is the mobile age or mobile age computing, because most of the processing when it comes to the analytics of the application in terms of AI or machine learning and all that, it's been pushed towards to the edge, to the last mile, either in the data centers or even to the devices. The 5G mobile phones are capable on a mobile edge readily available. That means all the data are not necessarily needs to be brought towards to the nearest base station or to the core network and reprocessed and transferred to the other devices. So the edge has the capability of the security measures in terms of filtering those kind of vulnerables that's coming in. So that's my point of view.
Thank you so much. And if I want to add some kind of comments, I would say that for cybersecurity over these topics, for example, massive IoT or a massive machine type communication, I would say that there is something on top of 5G. So there is a device, it could be actuator or sensor that would connect to one IoT platform. So in this case, we can do some kind of hardening in the device to keep the information in a secure way, and also we should have some kind of encryption methodology in application layer to the IoT platform as well. This is something that is under investigation by IoT vendors, as most of you know, and I can say that for down layer, 5G as a carrier to carry this kind of traffic can also do some new type of authentication, because you know we will have many IoT subscribers, user, and also this is a new topic in 5G. For example, one company can get 5G license and provide 5G by itself. No need to be MNO operator actually. So I think MVNO business will be more hot than before. So in this case, I can see some new kind of feature in AUSF, which was implemented before in HSS, but now it is separated module in 5G in order to, in order to authenticate both UE side and also MNO side, means AMF, and that should be a reliable AMF to carry this kind of information from UE to the MVNO network. This is what is my understanding till now. Thank you.
Thank you. I can add a comment myself. There is also some works on 5G regarding the security vulnerabilities in signaling plan. Okay, we all know that 5G comes with a lot of services, a lot of use cases. This comes also with a huge number of signaling messages, okay, in regarding signaling protocols, and this can also be a source or vulnerability. There has been some works on the reducing the devices states In 3G, we had 4 device states: connected, idle, and 2 other states. In 4G, we have only 2 states: connected and idle. But the connected and idle states was a source of which was a security problem, because to get from the idle to the connected state, we need to exchange many signaling messages, and we had a lot of those attacks and DDoS attacks that exploit this vulnerability. In 5G, Ericsson has proposed to add a 3rd state. Okay, we had 4 states in 3G, 2 states in 4G. Now in 5G, we propose 3 states in a kind of intermediate state between the idle and the connected. Why? A device which is in connected state does not return directly to the idle state, but it returns to the inactive state, so that when we need to activate the device, we exchange fewer number of messages. �ฤș has also pointed a point which is very interesting, is the MEC aspects, the mobile edge computing treatments. This is a good feature in 5G, but it comes also with at the expense of some security issues. In each device, we will have treatments, we will have processing, but not of the device itself, but we can have processing of many devices. Okay, and this device can also be a vulnerability issue. Because we can also make some DDoS attacks, many botnets that will have processing of many devices and can access to information of other devices. There is also many works actually on how we can protect MEC or mobile edge computing, how we can do secure mobile edge computing. I think 5G, there is a lot of security issues, and also I'm confident that there is also many workarounds and many works on how we can tackle these issues.
Okay, thanks so much for the comments. I'm not sure, do we have more time for the questions, or we are wrapping it up?
Anyone? One last question.
I would like to have one question. I mean, it's a very practical thing. 3GPP, they delayed the next releases of the standards. What do you think is the effect of the rollout of 5G? I mean, is this going to be all delayed? What do you think?
I think there has been already a delay in 3GPP meetings. The last meeting of 3GPP, I think they have delayed for 3 months all the features. They said that I understand, because there has been many features that necessitate many discussions, and they afraid to have some conflicting points of views, and in this general context of and this exceptional circumstances, they need to avoid such conflicting discussions. So they have delayed to plan the releases and the working items plan by three months. I think it's a good idea for now regarding exceptional circumstances.
As far as I know, yes, there should be 3-month delay for freezing 3GPP some of releases and documents, but some of the meeting are held remotely. As far as I know, CT 87 was done last week, I think, remotely, and they are following some features, yeah. But I think 5G release is somehow mature for basic deployments and it's working fine. So operator can continue for this release 15 and 16 and just let's wait for new verticals in release 17 and some other open cases of release 16 should be freezed after 3 months.
I think 17 is even due for end of next year. I mean, it's everything.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I have a kind of question and comment at the same time regarding monetization and pricing. What I have observed in literature is that the business models focus more on speeds, on throughputs, but I think there is less focus on remote areas business models. The desires in remote area, for example, remote areas are, for example, rural, are the ships in the oceans, are the plains, etc. If we take, for example, rural area, the desires are the same. We need throughputs, we need speeds, but I think the infrastructure and the investment does not follow. Also, for example, oceans, the ships are very far, and the connectivity will not be the same. We cannot use millimeter waves or terahertz waves to ensure connectivity in oceans. So how we can get to higher throughputs there? And someone who is on a ship has the same desire. He need and he wants to do gaming, for example. Why not? So I think it's also good points to discuss how we can achieve the same business models, more or less more simple to achieve in urban area. How we can translate that to remote area.
It's very interesting you're mentioning this because most times the business situation has been driven by the basic law of economics, of demand and supply. And because the demand in the rural area is very, very little, so the population asking for the services are not the same as that in the city center and cannot be the same as the city center. The rural committee in the House of Lords in Parliament in the UK had to come out with a special subvention to assist rural economies. Because right now, the trains that run in London don't have the same business gains as the trains that runs in rural Yorkshire, because the number of passengers is a lot less. If we apply this to electronics, it also means that the data packets from the rural area is not as much as that of the city center. So governmental agencies may have to make contributions if they see this as bringing economies to the rural economies. So not everybody has to go to the city to work. And sadly, the useful gain I have realized from the current lockdown in cities is that not everybody has to go to the office to work. So the talents in the rural areas can be tapped into by the government if they provide services, electronic services, as a social services rather than just commercial. Because the people in the rural area will not be able to pay the same thing as people in the city. So the government has to pay the difference and thereby stimulate rural economies and stop the drift to the city.
think I kind of agree with the comment, because some of those use cases can't be just pure commercial in nature. And as you rightly said, I was about to take the same example of the current situation that not everybody can travel. So most of us maybe want to go back to the rural side to stay and work and then enjoy the environment there. So I think those base infrastructure from the connectivity point of view, I guess, in rural areas will be more of a community investment to develop those areas and hopefully to develop the economy, and that's where the return of the investment for the government agencies will come from there as overall. But unless like developed countries like Australia, New Zealand, or US, where their agriculture, they're pretty advanced there. They're also talking about autonomous tractors and those kind of use cases. So those countries, I mean, while they have the use cases potentially for 5G, but it may not be still enough for such an investment required to develop the 5G infrastructure. So I think the only option, which I think I agree with the case, that it will be more of investment from the government agencies to develop the economy and kind of distribute the clustering towards everything to the city, rather than moving through and away from the cities and developing the whole nation rather than just few metro cities.
Yeah, I agree. I think also we need to propose some business models that are profitable even without state subvention. I think because the idea of state subvention has been proposed for many years, but I think until now there is a little rural area around the world that are connected as well as the urban area. I think we need to have funds or grants for projects to do brainstorming regarding business model that's profitable through MNOs in remote area. I don't know. I don't have the solution, but I think as we have solutions for every technical problem we have faced many years ago, I think remote area can also benefit from business models that are specific to those areas, and that remains also profitable to MNOs. In that situation, I think there will be massive deployments in rural area, and we can have seamless connectivity around the world, including the remote area.
Yeah, coming on remote areas, just one point. There are a couple of projects. One is the European Union that has a project to incorporate satellite connectivity for maritime communication. So there is some work going along already to integrate 5G and satellite communications for maritime use. So that's one project. There's another one, again on satellite, it's called Project Darwin. This is O2 in England that is teaming up with one of the satellite operators to offer satellite backhaul combined with 5G for the connected car. So I really think that the satellite is going to become, will be integrated into the 5G connectivity fabric sooner rather than later.
I know. Yeah, I know there is a study item in release 17 regarding remote area connectivity in remote area.
Yes.
I'm working with some colleagues on the 6G white paper in the project of 6G flagship with colleagues from Oulu University and other colleagues from around the world. We have also white paper that is reserved for connectivity in remote area, when we will try to give some proposals for industry, for 6G, how to achieve connectivity in remote area. And among the recommendations, we find that we need business models. We need new business models for those areas. Apart from technical issues, satellites, hubs, maybe fiber, these all technical proposals can work. But more importantly, I think business models are also needed.
Any questions, Naz?
No, I think I would suggest that all of us display our social media handle so that if anybody wanted to follow up, or I don't know how possible that is, that would be on our LinkedIn profile, so that if there are any other follow-up questions, because I would have probably wanted some more discussions on this, but I'm very aware of the time constraint, so that the discussion literally continues online.
Okay.
Okay. So the session has now come to an end. I hope it was beneficial to everyone. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all for your time and support. I really thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
For more such discussions.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Pleasure
nice
to meet
day.
you.